Hi, welcome. I want to share with you a dessert that I've been actually really excited about all week. I haven't even tried it yet, but we went camping last weekend, and of course everybody had s'mores. And so when we got back, we had leftover graham crackers and chocolate and stuff. And I got this idea from my husband because he added the graham crackers and chocolate to his bowl of dessert that he had that was a little bit different than this, but similar. And so I thought, I'm gonna do a s'mores ice cream for myself. So using what I normally have each night, I make a dessert that usually consists of basically frozen fruit, Greek yogurt blended with a protein powder. Sometimes I'll switch that up a little bit. And then some xantham gum, thickens it, makes it a nice creamy texture. And yeah, that's about all that goes into it normally. And it's really good. It's like a frozen yogurt treat that I have each night. So this is kind of a variation of that. And I know there's a lot of like similar protein ice creams and stuff out, so I've kind of seen some here and there, and I kind of sometimes take, ooh, that ingredients looks good, and combine whatever. I'm sure you all do the same thing too. So anyways, let's get started. But before that, if you're enjoying any of my videos at all, if you're watching, please go ahead and go hit that subscribe right now. I'll wait for you here. And thumbs up or even thumbs down if you're not liking it. Give me some constructive criticism. I'm open. Comments, what you want to see next, anything. Put it there. But go hit the subscribe. Don't just watch, subscribe. Okay, let's get started. So one of the things that I have discovered that makes a lot easier when I'm going to put yogurt into a blender is I add it first, and then I'm actually going to end up adding a little water and mix that, and it pours a heck of a lot easier into the blender rather than gooping the yogurt in where it gets stuck on all the sides and the blade and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 2 servings of Greek yogurt in here, and it is non-fat plain Greek yogurt. This just happens to be Member's Mark. So, and 2 servings of this one. Of course, they sometimes vary, but this is 170 grams per serving. So it is 340 grams total. You can, of course, now, tonight's I'm gonna make is pretty big, and it's gonna end up being 470 calories total because I have the macros and I'm excited for this one. So I went big, but you can definitely downscale this. Normally my dessert, I do about 1 and 1.75 servings. So it's usually about 298 grams of this particular yogurt in there. Oh, we are getting close. So, and with everything that I'm about to do, some things I'm gonna double, and you can most definitely downscale that to fit your macros. All right, we've got 2 servings of Greek yogurt, and then I'm gonna add in, I'm doing about a half a cup of water. So pour that in there. And then, without splashing, it doesn't have to mix real well. It's just basically to mix it to be able to pour. And normally right here is where I would actually go ahead and pour it into my blender. But to save your guys' ears, I did go ahead and do another batch that I already blended ahead, so my blender's a little bit occupied. But I'm gonna continue to add the ingredients in here. See how much easier that would be to just pour right into the blender. So we're just gonna put it right back on the scale. and keep adding to this bowl. It's no big deal. Set that aside for now. All right, and so I normally add frozen fruit. That gives it the nice, like, frozen type texture, like creamy, like ice cream. But I didn't want to add anything else to this flavoring tonight. I wanted to be able to really taste like the s'mores and not have it covered up by, I usually use blueberries, which is really good. Cherries would probably even be really good, and I might do that at another time. But for tonight, I just kind of wanted to isolate the s'mores flavor. So we're just gonna go with some ice. Hopefully this didn't get too stuck together. And I'm just gonna do 200 grams of ice. Usually my blueberries is about, I think it's 155 grams in a serving, I usually do. So I thought that would get close to that, a little over. Since I added a little bit more yogurt, I decided to go a little bit heavier on the ice. All right, $1.99, we're close enough. It's ice, so. Okay, we'll mix that a little bit since it isn't quite in the blender yet. And next, we're gonna add the dry ingredients. So this is where part of our s'mores comes in, which made this a good idea. This is, it's IdealLean, I love their protein. Okay. Marshmallow cereal protein. So how fitting is that for s'mores? I'm sure that you could use vanilla, you could probably even use chocolate. It's all gonna taste good. But of course, we're going for s'mores. So we've got marshmallow. And I use this in my dessert normally with like my blueberries and yeah, pretty much my blueberries and Greek yogurt. So good. And this is 25.4 grams per serving. And there's only 100 calories in this protein. It's got 20 grams of protein, 0 fat, and 2 grams of carbs. Which is why I love this one. Well, all of theirs, because they're lower calorie. Which of course you could just use a half a scoop of any of the other proteins that you use. Or 3/4, whatever. That's the thing too with macros. I mean, you can adjust. You don't have to use whole servings. You know, don't forget that you can absolutely just put 3/4 of a serving or 2 servings or whatever to make it fit in your macros for the day. Oh, there we go, perfect. All right, we got our marshmallows on board. And then we're gonna add 9 grams of xanthan gum, just for the thickening and yeah, basically thickening texture. There we go. Oops. Okay, now that is basically what is in here. Not basically, that's exactly what's in here. Okay, just those ingredients is what I started with. So I'm just gonna move that one aside. I'll blend that later and give it to my husband as a reward for suggesting the s'mores idea. And make them nice. All right, let's see how this came out. Probably should have looked ahead of time. Okay, I'm just gonna use this bowl here. See how nice and thick and creamy that came out? That is definitely from, I think it's a combination of, you know, putting the frozen fruit or ice, and the xanthan gum. Thickens it very nicely. It's a delicious alternative to ice cream. I have a huge sweet tooth. I've gotten a lot better since I changed my diet over, but that was definitely my weakness. If you've watched any of my other videos of like my journey, then you know that I used to be 225 plus pounds. I'm only 5 foot, by the way. And it would be nothing for my husband and I to bring home a pint of, I think they're pints, I don't know, normal size, okay, like tub of ice cream. And the two of us would take that down in one evening together. So, not a good idea. Not healthy whatsoever. And this, though, is a perfect alternative. It helps with those cravings, and a lot less calories and a lot more, not just that it's less calories, it's, you know, I've got protein here, it's much more nutritious. Now this one, of course, is going to have a little bit more of like the sugar and stuff because I am going to add actual graham crackers and chocolate chips. But you absolutely could substitute, you know, if you're gluten-free or whatever, you know, they make gluten-free graham crackers. If you don't want that and you just want some sort of, I mean, I don't know, Teddy Grahams, I don't know, cheese crackers if you're weird. But put those in there. And then there's, of course, the option for sugar-free. Sorry, I am totally blocking this. Sugar-free chocolate chips. And if this isn't sweet enough for you, you can also add any sweeteners of your choice. My husband will probably add some Splenda to his because he likes it super extra sweet. I prefer, I use artificial sweeteners, but I don't want an overwhelming artificial sweetener taste, so I use less usually. Plus, like I said, I gave up a lot of foods, and so my palate changed for sure. I used to hate fish, now I love it. Absolutely love. I could eat salmon all day. All right, I won't stand here and scrape every last drop. After I turn the camera off, I'll probably lick the blender, and that's not a lie. All right. Now look how big of a bowl that is too. And after I add everything else, we're still only going to be at 470 calories, which, I mean, it is a pretty good amount, but this is also a lot. I mean, you could definitely split this in half and make it for 2 servings. I'm going to eat this whole thing. But anyways, you can definitely split it. So I think the little tubs of, what are they? Oh, Halo Top, which are good, and I do eat those, especially traveling and stuff. But I mean, this is like at least 2 Halo Tops here, like at least. And those are what, around 320, I think, for a pint. Those are a pint. So I don't know what the other big ones are that I was talking about earlier. Anyways, I could be totally wrong on that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I wanted to blend those ingredients separate because I didn't want my chocolate chips and graham crackers like pureed. So I thought those would be good to kind of just add and crush afterwards. So I told you I went big today. So I measured out 2 servings of chocolate chips. And I just used regular semi-sweet morsels. So these are the macros that I'm going to give you when I list them, which it's 70 calories for 14 grams. Oh, okay. I did not read this correctly ahead of time. Thought that I doubled it. I actually did it times 4. So let me remeasure some of these before I put this in my ice cream. That would have been awful. I'm glad I was rereading. I don't know why I had 28 grams in my head as a serving. it's definitely not. That's why this looks like a lot. But now we need 28 grams is 2 servings, so that's what I'm going for. Which means the remainder in here will be for the other one. That's perfectly fine. Perfect. Okay. Well, that's a little more disappointing, but still, okay. Here's 2 servings of chocolate chips. It's still gonna be good. All right. I mean, at least it tops it, right? If I had the little minis, I would actually use those. Those would be really good in here. And they go a little further, makes it look like you've got more. So the graham crackers, though, I did most definitely reread this. Check that again. But they are, it's 130 calories, and there's 3 grams of fat, 24 grams of carbs, and 2 grams of protein for 1 serving, which is 2 full cracker sheets. I don't think I finished reading you the macros on the chocolate chips, but you know, they're pretty typical. They're all the same. So I was just going to kind of hand crush these in here. Oh, my dog knows that I'm cooking. She got locked in the bedroom. I don't know if you can hear her whining. So I would be tripping over her in here. And of course, if you only wanted half a serving of graham crackers, you could just put 1 in here. So with mine, when I make my desserts and stuff, I have one that's a favorite, and so I always front load it into my macros. So when I'm entering my breakfast and everything, I'm already entering my dinner, basically, is what I have it in as. And make sure that there's room out of all my calories for the day for my dessert, because I want it every night. Otherwise, though, sometimes if I'm needing to fit a certain amount of macro, you know, I still need a certain amount of protein, I still need a certain amount of fat for the day, and I need to stay within this many calories, I'll just alter, you know, I'll make like a bowl, whether it's something dinner, like savory type, or whether it is dessert type, and I'll just tweak my ingredients to fit into my macros that I need for the day still. So, you know, a little less Greek yogurt, a little more Greek yogurt, anything like that. You know, if I could only fit, if I only had enough calories for a half a serving of graham crackers, then that's what would go in here. But I planned ahead for this, and I've got room for this entire bowl. I almost blew it by doubling my, quadrupling my chocolate chips, but that's why I always second check myself. Made that mistake. That's for another video, but I'll have to do a, what do I do when I bleep up my macros for the day, because I did that. That'll be a video later. All right, so I kind of blended it in a little too much, but anyways, this is going to be delicious tonight. I guess I should taste it and not just tell you that it's going to be delicious, but then I'm going to want to eat the whole bowl. I still have to go work out. This is good. It could definitely use a little bit more like sweetener, because I did raise my amount of yogurt to the ratio that I usually use for my protein powder, and I don't have any fruit in here that usually sweetens it too. But even as it is really good. But you may want to add some stevia, Splenda, whatever you like. You could probably even add, if you took some things out, or if you still have the macros, it would be good with some fruit. Frozen cherries, frozen blueberries, whatever. But definitely delicious as it is. one more bite, and then it's going in the freezer until after I work out. All right. Well, sorry. Thank you for joining me. Hope you try it. Hope you love it. Don't forget to go hit that subscribe, and I will see what else I can come up with and share with you. Thanks. Have a great evening or morning, whatever.